Hello, good morning, and welcome to forexforsteadyprofit.com. I use the Commitment of Traders report, which comes out every week on a Friday, and I need to give me an idea of market direction. I analyze the ratios of longs to shorts for the commercials and non-commercials, and I also look at the divergence on the pairs, and it gives me an idea of market direction. We'll just go and have a quick look at the charts. So here we have the Commitment of Traders information in its raw form. You get the non-commercial positions and the commercial positions, long and short, and then you get the change in open interest. And you also get that broken down underneath for longs and shorts for both the commercials and the non-commercials. And we can see this broken down into a graph over a period of time, which also gives us comparatives, which are also very useful to look back on the history. And so we'll go and do that right now. And here we have a graph of the positions over 52 weeks, that's a year, for the commitment of traders of the commercials and non-commercials. And this is for the Australian dollar. This chart is produced by cotbase.com. And you can see here where we got to a low position with the commercials, and we're completely opposite to the speculators, and they've got a long position, so we're short. You can see we had a big drop off in the price of the Australian dollar. Conversely, when we were at a high and very bullish for the commercials, and we were fairly bearish for the non-commercials, that we actually had a hike in the rise of the price of the Australian dollar. This is a very useful tool to be using, and we can show you other ways that we use it and other things that we do with it. So here we have the Australian dollar, US dollar, and we've got the RSI. Now if we put a trend line on the RSI and we wait for it to go above the 69.1 and come back down and cut through it, this gives us a sell signal. Now, this obviously would have been a very good sell signal here. We had a sell signal here indicating this big long fall that we've had. And quite recently, we've had a rise in the price of the Australian dollar, which is just going through the 50 here. And I'm expecting it to turn back down and cut through the trend line, which will give us another sell signal because we have an extreme position of short the commercials and long the non-commercials on the Commitment of Traders report, and this should be quite a long sustained downward trend, which is always very profitable. Last bit of information, this is Ludwig's divergence calculator, and it works really well, and this helps us with the crosses. These are the currencies against the US dollar, and here we have the crosses calculated, and it gives us a divergence value between the commercials and the non-commercials, and it shows some of the pairs that are of more interest than others. A very useful tool, only available on the Members Centre, and the pairs that are of most interest we do feature on the video on the Members Centre every day, so you get a daily video on those. Hello, good morning and welcome. Not really much happened yesterday, and we've got a fairly quiet day today. We've got the building permits at 13:30 this afternoon GMT, and we had business confidence for the New Zealand dollar. That was at early hours of the morning, 8 years low for business confidence. The Australian dollar, not really much happened here, a bit of sideways movement. I am expecting this just to pop up a little bit more over the next 4 or 5 trading days. I have got a stop loss, a sell limit in at about 77,300. So we'll see how that goes, but we're still coming up my trend line, see how high it can climb. Okay, Pound US dollar. I've got my sell in down here. We have a commercial short ratio of 1.23 to 1, which is fairly bearish for the pound, and we're just bouncing off the 50 down on the RSI. I am expecting this to make a break lower, but you know, it might be the next couple of trading weeks. We'll see how that goes. I don't see a lot of upside in it. USD CAD, we've come up off the bottom. I've got one trading profit, and I'm waiting for a little bit more of an upturn in the dollar, and we're waiting for the oil price to fall and the Canadian dollar to fall. So I do see this as a fairly good long-term trade. We've got a short ratio for the Canadian dollar, which is a bit reduced at 2.18 to 1. So we'll see where it goes during the week, but I don't see much downside for it. Euro dollar, we've had a couple of green candles last couple of days, trading days. That was Monday and today. I am expecting this to move back down. Commercial short ratio of 1.73 to 1, which is about a 5-year extreme. We're just above the 50 on the RSI, 52.8, and I'm looking for this to fade back down. Let's just have a quick look on the hourly chart. It's not really doing anything. It's just a bit sideways at the moment. We'll see where that goes later on today. USD Japanese yen. We have a commercials long ratio of 3.92 to 1. That's for the Japanese yen, so short this pair. We've been up to the top Bollinger Band, and we're down now just below the 20-day moving just above the 20-day moving average. But we are below the 50 on the RSI. I'm expecting further strength in the yen and for this to move further down. I prefer this pair, well, both the US dollar and the Japanese yen on the crosses. So that's basically where I've got most of my trades, and we'll see how that goes, but I am expecting more strength on the yen. USD Swiss franc. We've seen more strength on the Swiss franc. In fact, I think it's probably more weakness on the US dollar yesterday, and we've come down to recent lows. We're at support at the moment. We could really do with breaking through that to give us you know, a bit more strength on the Swiss franc. We've got a long ratio of 3.42 to 1, which is reduced from the last 2 or 3 weeks. We're below the 50 on the RSI, and I think we're going to move a bit further down. New Zealand US dollar, we're up on resistance at the moment, and you know, we've got resistance also on the RSI, and I am thinking this is going to go a little bit further. So we've got our trend line up, and we're waiting to come down and cut through it. So we'll see how far we can go with this, because I'd really like to short it against something else. So we'll see where it goes. Silver, we've seen a little bit more strength this morning. We seem to have broken through the resistance, and we look to be going further up for silver. I'll put a trend line on it, and we'll see how far that goes. So yeah, see how far that can go before it breaks the trend line. Just a quick look at the DXY. It gapped down this morning. I've got a little trade on it. I'm looking for more strength in the dollar, so we'll see where that goes to. Interesting little trade. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully see you again tomorrow. Cheers, bye now.